Welcome, members of the Wolf Pack. It's your boy Greiwolph. Ooh, back with another episode of Final Fantasy 16. Pretty late stream for me. It's literally 1 a.m. But I passed out super early yesterday, so now I'm up. Try to get like an hour or so in before I go to the gym, because I usually start getting ready for the gym around 3:30 a.m. So let's get a little back in. As you can see, I got a new sword. Also, while I was off stream, I just went and I only leveled up once because obviously, you know, it still takes a long time to level up. But I did this one, and this one, just running around Dalmill. I haven't done this one yet. I think I'm gonna wait until I get another sword and stuff. So let's go ahead and hit some main quests and see from there.
You barely sat down since you came home. Vivian got you running errands or something?
Just spreading the word.
Oof. I don't really know what's next, but we're about to find out together.
The professor's got a soft side, has she? I'd never have guessed.
No. She was right, though. Everyone was glad to hear the news.
Ah, but you ain't told everyone. I can think of plenty of friends back at the old hideaway who'd sleep more peacefully for knowing. Not least of all Sid. You should tell him.
You're right. I should. And I will.
Well, when you do, be sure to take Mid with you. She's been going at it hammer and tong down in that workshop of hers, trying to do her father proud. I can't remember the last time she visited the old sod's grave.
Very well. I'll suggest it.
Oof, excuse me.
Think Mid might need some help.
If I don't come up with something soon. All right, Clive? What do you want?
I'm going to visit Sid, and I thought you might like to come with me.
Sorry, I'm too busy for all that right now. I've got to get this thermal displacement stack sorted.
Thermal...
Displacement stack. Here.
And this is for...
Only the fastest, finest ship the world has ever seen. The Enterprise. Me and my dad designed it together. Where other vessels rely on the fickle winds to drive them through the water, ours is fitted with mithril engines. And those things have got more push than a behemoth in a bad mood, and more heat than all the hells put together. Which is where the stack comes in. I may have already talked some tight-lipped shipwrights into putting the hull together for me in a little dockyard in Canva. But the stack's a bit more involved, so I'm building it here. Thing is, it's so involved that I'm running behind and it's starting to hold things up over at the shipyard. I'll come and see my dad, though, when I'm done. Whenever that is.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I was hoping you'd say that. First things first, I need some parts meching. The stack will be made up of 3 major components. There's the plating, here, that channels hot vapors away from the engine. The helm over the top, that disperses all that heat into the air. And the shielding around the sides. That stops the rest of the ship from going up in flames.
A full suit of armor, then. Probably best to take it one piece at a time.
Then you'll need to start with the plating. Everything else fits onto it. I've got the designs and the list of materials here. Show these to Blackthorn. He'll know what to do.
Well, I can't make head nor tail of them.
Luckily, you don't need to.
Who's that in the corner? Blackthorn. Let's see if he got anything. There's a lot of running back and forth on this game for like little tedious quests, but I think a lot of games do that, and I kind of don't understand why. Although we finally got some other quests.
Clive. Here you go.
Oh, yep. Two. I have to go do those.
Always something in there.
It's been a minute since he actually had some other quests for the other places. What? Excuse me again. Like a lot of these games do have a lot of like little tedious quests. I believe the developers think like, oh, it adds like a homey feeling to the game for you to do stuff. But
Can I ask a favor?
Hell with it.
I think more so for a lot of gamers, it kind of adds
This is my last chance to say I'm otherwise engaged.
a why
Myself the arseache. Go on then.
feeling
What is it this
instead.
time?
She said you would know. Here.
Like why am I doing this little tedious thing as bringing this plate stuff to this other dude here when anybody else in this whole operation could have done so. Instead, you have the main character who's supposed to be busy fighting stuff
Won't be easy though.
taking some blueprints to the blacksmith because his engineer couldn't do it.
Right.
Although there's little kids running around here and all types of nonsense that she could have hired or said something to, hey, I give you an apple, I'll give you something to go take this to them. You know what I mean?
So Lid's roped us all in here again, has she?
Mm-hmm.
Typical.
She sure did. Wrote this all
That's
in
what
here.
it takes to get her to visit Sid's grave. I'll do what I can.
And, what is it we need to do, exactly?
Take a look at this. It's this plating. The usual saw grade steel won't work. We need something that can get very hot, very fast, and still keep its shape. That means an alloy. Something that won't break or buckle at the temperatures she's talking about. Which is where you lot come in. I need materials, and I've got my work cut out already. You'll have to fetch them. Now, there's a special kind of sand I'm after that you can only find out in the Velcroy. Stardust, they call it. As for the rest of the stuff, my usual supply should have it in stock. It just needs buying and bringing back here. Well, we'll get it done quicker if we split up. One of us should probably give you an hand collecting the sand.
And the other can go and get the rest from this supplier.
Right then.
Well, make your minds up who's going where, we can get this over with.
Well, where am I going? Y'all didn't say nothing.
You going after the Stardust then, are you?
Of course I am.
Which one of these two lucky souls is going with you?
I don't think I've ever had Gav Auto come with me anywhere.
Gav, you're with me.
All right, then. So, where do we find this Stardust stuff?
There's a river that runs through the southern reaches of the Velcroy. It's the black sand that washes up on its banks that you're after.
Southern reaches of the Velcroy, eh? That's down past Dallamil. I'll go and scout the place out. See about hiring us a wagon to bring the stuff back to.
All right. I'll meet you by the river.
While you're off having a paddle, I'll pick up the rest of the stuff from Blackthorn's supply. Take care.
You two, eh? Don't go letting them fleece ya.
Fleece me? I'd like to see him try. In your own time.
This is probably the best choice Especially since Gav is gonna go stick the area out, which he really not gonna go do, but you know what I mean. Well, let me go to this guy first. Yeah, this sword is the only. Oh, my controller drifting. This sword is the only sword so far in the game that didn't have equal physical attack and stagger rate.
New notes that might interest you.
Come on, get this dude to level 5. Oof, almost.
If you have a question for me, I should be happy
I'll do
to
the rest.
answer it.
Look at those things later. I want to bore y'all. Ooh, man, yawning like crazy. So look at that. It's a side quest over there. I might as well pick up while I'm there.
The most fragrant herbs and spice.
Come, just that now. And without so much as a by your leave.
What's the matter?
It's my apprentice. He up and vanished. I'd go and look for him myself, but I've got a bakery to run. A bakery that's now short. One pair loath though I am to rely on the kindness of strangers. I'm at a loss.
Sure, why not?
I'll see what I can do. Do you know where he might have gone?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was off somewhere mooning at Drake's Fang. He used to work there, you see. Poor fool left his heart in its hollow.
All right. Then that's where I'll start.
Well, my quest is here, and this thing is all the way back here. Whoops. Better get down later.
Yes, they're quite sore.
I was thinking too, because I still don't have the Gil
Looks like I found the river.
exploit on him.
Where's
Not
Gav?
exploit, but the Gil accessories that gives you more Gil. Exploit, that didn't sound good at all. And I don't know where, because you can only get Gil from quests. So if I don't get the Gil before the game is over, if I don't put the Gil thing in before the game is over, I'm just not gonna be able to get him. I have to wait for New Game Plus to do
Sorry
it.
to keep you, Gav.
But by that time, I'm gonna be trying to get to level 100, so I'm gonna still need to experience one.
Around here's our best bet if we want to grab as much of this Stardust stuff as we can. Don't know what Blackthorn's planning to do with it, though. I asked over in Dalamil, and they seem to think it was worthless. But if Stardust is what Blackthorn wants, Stardust is what he'll get. There's plenty of this stuff lying about, just begging to be bagged.
Then let's get bagging, shall we?
We shall. Race ya.
Is it not at the bottom of this river here? I know something's gonna pop out. Has to.
So this is Stardust. It just looks like black sand to me.
Why is this shit just in random places?
That should be enough for now. Let's see how Gav's getting on.
You finished? How much did you get?
Enough. I hope.
This man got a whole bag full of it, and I got 5 little handfuls.
Oh, you win. That might even be enough for old Blackthorn. Hey, before we go, do you mind if we have a chat? Feels like ages since we had the chance to talk. You know, man to man like.
It does, doesn't it?
Back when you first took Sid's name, we were talking all the time. Working out what to do in that.
There was a lot to work out.
And there still is. Those shoulders of yours starting to feel the strain. Hardly ever see you around the hideaway nowadays. Always on some errand or other. You can take a day off, you know.
What says the man who spends most of his time behind enemy lines?
Only 'cause you keep sending me there.
I know I can count on you, Gav.
Likewise. So you keep sending me wherever you need to, and I'll keep going. Safe in the knowledge that I have a home to come back to. Thanks to you. Right. That's enough soppy shite for one day. We'd better get this lot back to Blackthorn before he slings his hammer at someone.
You go on ahead. And try to get some rest once you're there.
Oh, I plan to. Believe you me. After Blackthorn gets what he needs, of course.
Right. Ready to go home, boy?
Alright, let's do this side quest. I don't know what that was, because that was not there the last time. I don't think. It was just these birds.
This one.
I gotta fix this camera thing. My camera is drifting away. Why I'm trying to fight? Because my right analog stick. It's messed up. You would think PlayStation would have had that fixed. I don't know what it was. But I actually, you know how your everybody has this theory that your phone is listening to you and stuff. For some reason, my phone has suggested how to fix the drift on the controller video, which I didn't look at the time, so I think I might have been I might have been actually gaming or something when it suggested it.
This one.
But definitely the fix the drift. One of those marks was like literally standing right here in the middle of the road, so it was the A rank one, the human. So he was right there. As soon as I teleported over here, I was like, oh, let me teleport over here. Let me start looking for these marks. I teleported. He just standing right in the middle of the road, and I was like, oh, okay, that's probably him right there. Went and fought him, and then there was another mark down here, the Gamelkian one, and then I think there was one. I think it was like right here. There was the bumblebees, That was over there. I basically just went running around that area. I didn't know this area was gonna be this. I went running around here. I'm like, let me just go explore and see what's going on, because it wouldn't let you go to these areas before, if you remember. It just takes you straight to the jaw, and it doesn't even let you pass through this area. It just automatically takes you to the jaw, to the Drake's Fang. But I was like, all right, let me go start from here, and I'll run around, blah, 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 blah. I was like, all right, let me go down here. I'm like, okay, let me go over here. And then it had these two split offs, but had no idea the area was this big. So I was like, okay, let me just go down here. And I went down here, and then it popped into this big area, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is gonna take a minute. And I was gonna start streaming right after that, then I just got tired.
Excuse me.
What do you want?
The baker sent me to find you.
I am a sorry, selfish sod, aren't I? Certainly not a baker. Master must rue the day he took me in. Time was the sight of the Fang used to calm my nerves. Now look at her.
I take it you missed the Mother Crystal.
I hated her, but she was all I knew. Worked her mines for years. And when she shattered, part of me shattered with her. I had to trade my pickaxe for a rolling pin, but I'm no good at baking. Every loaf I touch collapses. My bread's as hollow as I am. She was the only thing that could fill the hole inside me. Oh, I loved her, damn it. But now she's gone. She's never coming back. What am I supposed to do? I ask her. How does a shell of a man learn to live again?
Perhaps you could express yourself in your work. If you miss the Fang, maybe you could recapture it somehow.
Recapture it? I'm a baker, not a... You know, you might just be right. What a fool I've been! I have to get back to the bakery right away. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. You've opened my eyes.
Wait. Suppose you won't be needing an escort then. Take a sniff, good sir. You'll beat.
Ah, there you are. The man who lit a fire under my wayward apprentice. Though I worry you might have stoked the flames a little too high. He damn near ran me down trying to get to my oven.
Master, it's ready. Behold the Drake's Balm. A truly unique creation.
I dare say it is.
Just look at it. A perfect likeness of the Fang herself. Her steepled peaks, her fulsome spurs, her inviting hollow. True, my loaves collapse more often than not, but what's the Fang without her crater? Why, no Fang at all. And look, inside. She's filled to bursting with a bounty of beautiful crystals. Salt crystals! Master, I have found my purpose. I must use my work here to preserve the memory of the Fang.
Well, if it tastes half as unique as it looks, I'd certainly say you're onto something. Not only is
I'm
my
talking with my
apprentice
sister.
back, but he's finally pulling his weight. With any luck, I might even have a new delicacy on my hands. I don't know how you did it, but you have my thanks.
See, he didn't sound very appreciative as he's saying it. The voice actor for this, I don't know if they wanted him to sound that way? Because he didn't sound very appreciative at all. He sounded like he was just like, yeah, and sure, if it works.
Now, Dusan, I
But then
know you're...
as I'm looking at it, I was switching my thought process to think, you know what? He's probably like that too because this is something that's new, and is unique, and it's not what they are accustomed to in the area that he's in. So when you're trying something new for the first time, everybody's kind of skeptical of it, and everybody's like, "That's probably not gonna work," or "This might not be good." We're not used to having pastries with custard in the middle and a little salt on it and stuff as well. Like, we're not used to that. So we use just our regular pastries, maybe with some honey on the top of them or something like that. But you're doing some crazy nonsense. Nobody's gonna like that. And that's the voice that I got from him saying, yeah, if it tastes half as unique as it looks, yeah. And then at the end, he's like, yeah, we might have something good on our hands. This and this. And like, nigga, what? You're not even expressing the same emotions here.
Blackthorn, got everything you need?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Cheers for the stardust. Should be enough to be getting on with.
We should go out on maneuvers together more often. You'll be sneaking around on your Todd all the time.
I'll make a start on putting this thermal plating together then. It will take some time, mind. So if you've got other things to be getting on with, I could do without you breathing down my neck.
Thank you, Blackthorn. I'll let Mid know construction's underway.
Suppose we'd better be getting back to work too.
Give us a shout if you need anything.
We're seeing troops amassing at every point.
I think Mid might need some help.
If I don't come up with something soon...
You'll be pleased to hear that Blackthorn's started work on the plating.
Excellent. 1 down, 2 to go.
So, what's next?
The helm, of course. For this, we'll be repurposing fallen scrap.
Salvage from the ruins? I thought that material was all but impossible to work.
Ah, but we don't have to.
I'm sorry.
Just so happens there's one particular ruin that's broken into exactly the right shape and size pieces for what we need. What's the name back there? I'll give you all the details.
What's her name? Right.
Oh, Sid, is this about the helm?
Yes. Mid said I should speak with you.
I'll show you the plans then. Here you see the mithril engine, in which mithril is burned to generate heat. That heat is then harnessed to produce motive force. Excess heat is dealt with by means of the thermal displacement stack, which disperses it into the surrounding air. Now, were we to rely on thermal plating alone to achieve this effect, the rate of excess heat buildup would far exceed the displacement coefficient of the plating. In other words, the reactor would overheat and eventually explode. This is where the helm comes in. It connects to the plating, you see, and serves as a sort of thermal sink to absorb all that excess energy. Our experiments have shown that fallen ceramics are remarkably thermophilic. They can withstand and absorb levels of heat far above anything we are able to make today. And, not only that, They're also waterproof and immune to rust, making them the perfect material for our protective hood. Why, if sea or rainwater were to enter the reactor proper, it would vaporize instantly. The forces produced would tear the ship from stern to...
You can stop there. I understand. Mid said we might be able to use parts of a fallen ruin. Where would I find it?
Ah, yes. It's in Lorbert's Pass, near Lostwing. The thing is, well, I probably should have arranged to have the pieces we need brought here sooner. You see, a certain unwanted visitor has taken up residence there. It's no longer a matter of just walking in and taking them. It's, going to be considerably more dangerous than that.
I see. Then I suppose I'd better deal with this unwanted visitor for you. Would that help?
Oh, very much. Thank you, Sid. I'll gather my team and head there right away. We'll meet you outside the ruins.
Alright, I'm probably about to have to fight something pretty good. Something took up residence. Let's go fight it. I sure would like to have somebody else on my team other than my boy. Would you look at that? Got to go over there to the other side quest one. Other than, dang, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. Oh, Toggle. Toggle be helping me out, obviously. And now since Toggle will randomly turn to his Fear form while I'm fighting. So, alright, where's this quest at? Alright, it's over here. Let's go lock on this quest, and then we'll go to the main quest. Good day to you, Sid.
The crystals we get from the tail.
Are we actually taking you south?
Ah, Clive. Your timing is exquisite, as always. I have a concern which you may be able to assist me with.
Go on.
There are whisperings afoot of shadowy figures having been sighted outside the village. Rustlings in the undergrowth, suspicious noises. My people fear that they are being watched. It may be no more than a surfeit of nerves, understandable in the current climate, or it may be the prelude to something altogether more dangerous. Given what I hope you'll forgive me calling your nose for trouble, I wondered if you might investigate.
Of course.
Excellent. You might begin by speaking with the good citizens of Lostwing. Listen to their tales, and make what you will of them.
All right. I will. Right. Let's see what the people of the village have to say. I'd better find out if this is just nerves, or something we need to take more seriously.
You alright, Sid? Something on your mind?
There is, actually. Can I ask you something? Quentin tells me people have mentioned shadowy figures out in the woods. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Oh, that. No, sorry, can't help you. I heard the rumours, mind, from the lads working over at the vineyard, but none of them have seen anything either.
All right. Thanks anyway.
The crystals we get from the tail are all...
Word is, the Black Shields took a hiding at the hands of some bear.
Excuse me. Quentin mentioned strange figures having been sighted near the village. Have you seen anything?
Nah, not me, Gov. I heard the rumours, though. I'm here most days, right next to the gate, and I ain't seen nothing out of the ordinary. Don't worry,
Any shady characters try and slip into town this way, and I'll soon come running. And shouting, most likely.
All right. Thank you. Do you have a moment? There's talk of suspicious figures in the woods. Have you seen anything out of the ordinary?
No, but I've heard something. Sound of scraping metal, like someone sharpening a sword.
Where was this?
In Lorbert's Pass. Was out foraging for herbs when I heard it, screeching out from between the trees. Ran back here as quick as my legs would carry me, and I ain't been back since.
I see. I'll look into it. Thank you.
Hopefully it's on the way to where I'm going already, which I think it is. Yeah, that's cool. So I can hit both of those.
Seems Lorbert's Pass is our best bet then.
Once I get my new PC, which I'm looking at buying, one of my dudes I used to work with, I'm looking on buying his old PC. Once I check out the specs and stuff for it, excuse me, I'll start running OBS and stuff like that. So we have an overlay and whatnot going on. Right now, I'm streaming from my PC, not PC, Jesus. I'm streaming from my PS5
You there?
straight to Twitch and stuff.
Fuck! He's seen us. Get them before they escape.
Get me? Oh yeah.
Here.
Oh, he's level 30.
What are you doing here? What is it to you? Not that we give a damn. All that matters to us is that you don't leave here alive.
So we putting in work. This dude got half his health. Well, essentially half his health left. All from Togo beating him up. Dang, he got me right when I couldn't do nothing about that. I was on the middle of my attack. Oh, I was fighting something. I was fighting one of the cat dudes. I can't remember what they call right now. I was fighting one of the cat. First of all, y'all niggas get in there. Come on, swing at me. I was fighting one of the cat mobs with the whiskers. Got this dude down to like maybe 2 hits being left. And you see that little red zone right there? Basically, like if you go out of that zone, the fight stops. This dude likes to jump around a lot. Like the monster likes to jump around a lot and jump back and stuff like that. It can be. Apparently, I'm fighting this dude. He jumps back out of the zone.
Why were they here? Are they planning an attack on Lost Wing? I need to warn Quentin.
I'll go back and learn one content later. He jumps back out of the daggone zone and it resets. He just start walking away with a gray health bar. Like you can't hit him, you can't do anything to him. Whole health bar comes back. I didn't already use potions and all types of stuff. I'm already fighting this dude. Use my freaking my limit break and everything, my prime, all that nonsense. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So then I had to go into a tactician mode fight against this fool to beat him after that. Still got beat, but it was still just like, come on, game. For real?
Oh, there you are, Sid. Thanks so much for coming. The, ruins are just over there, as is the creature I told you about, I'd imagine. Would you mind?
Well, yeah, like I said, once I get that, I was looking at some videos of how to do, basically how to make my stream look better from PS5, and then how to set up OBS and stuff, so you can have those little overlays. So you see some people stream when it has that little outline border and it shows like their Twitch handle and their YouTube handle and all that stuff, and then the stuff pops up whenever the messages read by themselves, and you get little sounds and stuff when people subscribe and things like that. So I'm gonna put all that stuff in there, so it just looks a little better, so it doesn't look as plain. Oh, it's an airman dude. Let's get this dude.
Unwanted visitor. Time to go.
I don't really like fighting these things. Like I thought I fought that first one. I noticed I didn't like fighting them. Thing he got me. Because all they do is the teleporting thing. They shoot these lightning balls out. And while he's shooting the lightning ball out, he always does the eye thing. Come here, sit down. But he doesn't stay still a lot. And then he does that death thing. That damn it. He does that death attack thing that automatically hits you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nice try.
It's not hard though. It's just kind of annoying to fight. I also don't know that they're gonna make me fight like another one. Like a lot of times they love to do like a Doom. He does Doom, and Doom automatically. Get out of it! Get out of it! I don't know what's gonna happen to me while I'm in there, because I've never actually got hit by it, and I make sure I don't, because it's Doom, and if I know Doom, I'm gonna die from getting hit by it.
Too slow.
Dang, he's always too far away. That doesn't even make sense. I was right near him when it happened. Oh my god!
Nice try.
Here, sit down right quick. You're doing too much.
Get him.
All right, that's done. That's done. Give me my.
The things I do for you, Mid.
Sid! Oh, thank goodness you're safe.
You shouldn't have any trouble now.
Indeed. Well, don't let us keep you. We'll, see that everything is transported safely back to the hideaway.
All right. I'll let Mid know you're on your way.
Good day to you. Sid.
The crystals we get from the
Clive, how goes the hunt for our sinister figures?
I found some black shields hiding near Lorbert's Pass. They're gone now.
Black Shields. The Empress's former bloodhounds. Though they serve another master now. One who means to root out and destroy both me and those I care for. And it would appear the pack has finally caught the scent of its prey. Damn it all. I had hoped I would have more time than this. More time to prepare. But if we are cornered, we have no choice but to bite back. And bite back we shall.
I'm sorry. You're going to need to explain. Who did the Black Shield serve now? And why would that person want you dead?
Because I want him dead.
Who?
The former Lord Chief Justice of Sanbreque. All that I have built here is for him.
I don't understand. Why him? Why Lostwing?
I suppose it is better that you know the truth. I was a member of the judiciary once. So sickened was I by the injustice of this world, I swore to fight it. And fight it I did in my own small way. I saw more than a few corrupt officials condemned to the very cells into which they had thrown blameless innocents. Men to whom the law was but a scourge to turn against the powerless. And throughout, it was the Lord Chief Justice who backed me, who was my one true ally in the quest to see justice done.
So what changed?
I discovered that he hunted bearers for sport. I was a fool to think he shared my hatred of venality and vice. His support for me was no more than a facade, a means of ridding himself of his rivals, a mask to hide the rot beneath. I filed suit against him immediately. His response, however, was rather more visceral. He had my entire family slaughtered, and he faced no punishment whatsoever. I lost everything. My loved ones, my livelihood, my position, the faith I had once held that any modicum of justice might be achieved through the courts. So I set about enacting my own. I tracked down every soul who served him, and slit their throats myself. But the man himself proved an altogether more difficult target. With money and power come protection. And so I saw that I would need an army of my own. I came here to Lostwing and began recruiting like-minded individuals.
And everyone here knows this is why you do what you do.
Of course. They too have lost loved ones to the bearer hunts. Seen faultless friends sent to the gallows to spare the guilty. All under the watchful eye of the Lord Chief Justice. Our wounds are the same. And our cause is the same. We are comrades. And our revenge is already in motion. We know where he hides, how numerous and well-trained his guard. What we did not know until now, however, was that his plans may already be in motion too.
Quentin.
Our time is short. He may move against us at any moment, unless we move against him first. My friends and comrades, it begins. Make ready for war.
I'm not going to change his mind.
Welcome to the Patron's Whisper. Come to claim your just desserts? Here you are. Come again. I may have more for you.
There's so much whisper going on that there obviously has to be a lot more marks going on and a lot more quests going on. Like I said, there's a trophy to hear all the whispers. So once I hear all of the whispers, there's also a trophy, I think, to spend 30,000 gil at the town and pub or whatever it is.
Mid. Helena has recovered the material for the helm. She'll be along shortly.
Excellent. Another job well done.
And just one remaining.
Right. Right, the shielding. This one's a bit of a bugger.
How so?
The plating's enough to stop the engines going pop, but those things will still be spitting out enough fire to set the rest of the ship ablaze. Which is why you need proper shielding. A prison for the dragon's breath that's blazing away inside. I thought a triple thick layer of tempered steel might do it. Or more of the stuff that the Fallen use, but they'd both be too heavy. The helm and the plating are bulky enough as it is. Add any more weight and the whole ship would be at the bottom of the briny before we'd even started. I need something light. But I've racked my brains and I just can't think what would do it.
Well, if I were in need of obscure knowledge, I know whose counsel I would seek. Hippocrates.
Tomes? Yeah, well, I'd thought of that, obviously. I've got all the details written down here. Can you take this to him, see what he makes of it?
Right away.
Clive the errand boy. That's what she is. Clive the big old errand boy. I'm pretty sure this whole thing I'm in right now is an airship. If I remember right, yeah, this whole thing is an airship. I don't know if she's building another airship, which I don't think she is. I think she's basically building on top of this airship. This is an airship. It just doesn't run anymore. And I think she's building on top of this to make it a movable one. Because I highly doubt they'd be building a whole another airship somewhere. Somebody obviously would see that and say something about it. Because all she said was she had the blueprints for an airship that she's building. She's trying to build all this and this, but I think it's going to be built on top of this.
Hippocrates, do you have the moment?
For you, Clive? Always.
Well, actually, it's for Mid this time. Could you take a look at this?
Shielding for a mithril engine? Whatever will that girl think of next? And what are these notes around the edges?
She has some specific requirements for the materials. The shielding needs to be able to resist extreme heat on the inside, and yet remain cool enough on the outside not to set the ship alight, while also being light enough not to sink it. As you can imagine, she's struggling to find anything that meets her needs.
I see.
I wondered if you might know of a solution, or if you might be able to search the records for one.
Perhaps it is not a different material she requires, but a different approach.
What do you mean?
Consider the lake we have made our home. Its blighted waters eat away far more quickly than fresh water or even brine, at timber and steel alike. And yet, we have made a home here from those very materials nonetheless.
We have. But Bardolph must varnish every board twice over to keep it from rotting. And Obelisk complains that without a constant supply of pitch. I see.
Early Gregorian histories speak of a preparation known as moon dew. It is said to be able to resist even the most ferocious flames. Before the dragoons tamed the worms and wyverns of the realm, nobles would daub their castle walls with it in order to guard against dragon fire.
So if we could recreate it...
It might be applied to some material or other in order to provide the protection it requires. As to how best to apply it and to what material, perhaps Bardolph and Obolus might be of assistance. I shall speak to them and see what wisdom they might have to offer. If you would be so kind as to procure the necessary ingredients, I shall discuss the specifics of how it might be most effectively put to use with our two friends. The knowledge of the past may yet prove useful to we of the modern era.
Thank you, Hippocrates. And since you're asking others to help you, perhaps I should too.
So you need a hand, do you?
We do. I'll be heading to market for the ingredients we need. I could do with some help. And some company too.
The other can assist me in researching how best to prepare the shielding itself.
Can we count on your aid?
Always. Well, if Jill's game.
Thank you.
I am sure either of these fine young minds would prove indispensable in my research. I leave the decision as to who will go with whom in your capable hands, Clive.
Shielding that guards against even the most ferocious flames. We could have done with some of that on Drustinus.
I doubt I would have survived that place with or without it. A trip to Northreach, though, I think either of us could handle.
Obviously, I'm taking Jill.
Have you made your decision? Who will accompany you on your little excursion?
Very well. So then, what do we need to find?
I have taken the liberty of preparing a list. Here.
White chocobo eggs. Pepio nuts. Are you sure this list is right? Everything on here seems very edible. I would have thought the ingredients would be a little more exotic.
Though these items may seem mundane, they have potent effects that are rarely exploited, effects for which they were once highly prized. So much so, in fact, that they were harvested almost to extinction, hence moon dews having fallen from favor. Now, of course, they can be obtained with ease. You should be able to find everything you need at the market in Northreach.
Is that so? I've been meaning to visit Northreach anyway. I'll set out now. Join me there when you're ready.
I will. Until then.
You two enjoy yourselves.
You too, Talia. Now, where's Jill?
There's talk that the glass gate flood has finally spread.
All anyone ever wants anymore.
Up! You'll not find a bruised pippin in the bush.
How goes the hunt for ingredients?
I've only just started. I'm sure everything we need is somewhere amongst all these stalls, though. Why don't we split up and see? We'll take a couple of ingredients each.
All right. What am I looking for?
How about you look for the pepio nuts and some garlic? I'll find the other things we need. We can meet by the gate when we're finished.
Fresh cuts! Come and get them before... Any friend of the innkeeper is a friend of mine. I hope it's to your liking.
How the hell is anyone supposed...
Oi, don't touch anything. If that's what you want.
That's everything. Let's see how Jill's getting on.
Did you find everything?
I did. Here.
Garlic and pepio nuts. Perfect. Now all that remains is for Harpocrates to somehow turn all this into what Mid needs to keep her engine cool. But before we head back, would you walk with me a while? Thank you for asking me to help you today. It makes a nice change.
It does. It's good to get away from all the battle and bloodshed for once. Just being here reminds me of when we were children. Do you remember? Walking down Market Street in Rosalith, taking in the sights and smells.
How could I forget? What with Torgal's antics. Remember how his nose would prick up at the scent of sausages? He'd go racing away and we'd have to go running after him. We wouldn't catch you now, would we, boy?
Was there anything you wanted to buy for yourself while we're here?
There was, yes. Well, sort of. Molly in the kitchens told me about a place that sells particularly good pies. Thought you might like to share one with me.
I would. Thank you.
And I saw some bread. Big white cobs like the baker back in Rosalith used to make. What do you think? I thought we might get some soup to dip it in. But then I tried a slice of the butcher's dry-cured ham and it was just... oh.
You all right?
Sorry. It's just... you're right. I really do feel like a child again being here with you. Clive. Is it wrong of me to enjoy this?
No, Jill. This is how life should be. And it's how our lives will be when our work is finally done. When we can live on our own terms.
I hope so. Thank you, Clive. Well, I suppose we best be getting back. I need to give these ingredients to Harpocrates and Talia. I'll see you at the hideaway.
Take care.
I will. You too.
That would have been the perfect moment for them to go ahead and get that kiss that they got messed it up by Gav, I think it was, who came running in there, messed up the kiss. Went about to that one time. Oh, Jill.
I wonder how Harpocrates is getting on with the moon dew.
I'm sure the purpose of this quest was to make you feel more involved with the coming of the airship while having mid out, but it literally just feels like busy work, like a tedious busy work quest. Like, granted, the game is more than just action packed. It just also feels like it's unnecessary. Like, it's unnecessary for me to go gather these little materials just to give the mid so she can make the airship. In most of the games, you just have the airship when it's time, and this might have been their way of like, oh, this is you helping out, so you have the airship, so you're not just giving the airship, so it makes you feel more involved in the actual process. It's like, yeah, but I don't need to be, because this is not that significant on things. It's not like I'm actually building it like some sandbox type stuff, some Fallout 4 or whatnot.
You can count on me. I've mixed more than a few mysterious concoctions in my time.
I'm sure you have. What about the shielding itself?
Work is underway, under the watchful eyes of Bardolph and Obolus.
Apparently, it'll be ready soon.
Thank you. All of you.
Right then. Jill, would you join me in the infirmary? Many hands make light work and all that.
Of course. Oh, and Clive, thank you. It was nice just being with you.
It appears our work here is almost at an end. A shame. I was enjoying playing the man of action for once. When both the shielding and the moondew are ready, it will merely be a matter of applying the one to the other. Followed by a rigorous process of testing and retesting, of course. Perhaps someone ought to warn young Mid of that.
Leave it to me. Thank you, Hippocrates.
This is the first time I actually looked at Black Blood, because I kept getting it a lot, and I didn't even know it was just a value to be traded for Gil, and literally until now. I was wondering what it's for, because you get so much material, and I'm like, what is all this stuff for? Because I'm not using really any of this stuff, because I haven't really been creating any weapons. Because most of the weapons you can create, you can just buy the first version. It's like either create the +1 version or buy the first version. A lot of times, I don't know if I'm gonna have the material to just create the +1. And then, like I said before too, most of the weapons and armor and stuff you get in the game right after the main quest, you get better versions of it by like 10 points or freaking 5 points, whatever it can be. So it's almost pointless to even upgrade your weapons, because the upgrade is you'll have a weapon. Like I think right now my sword is 225. I'll upgrade it, it'll go to 230. You upgrade it one more time, it goes to freaking 235. Well, the weapon I get right after that main quest is gonna be 240. So it's like I just upgraded this, but it's not even as strong as the next weapon I'm about to get. It'd be different if the next weapon I get is also 235, but they can upgrade to 240. I'm like, okay, I get it, but it's immediately better than the full maxed out version of the sword that I just spent all my materials on and money on upgrading. Which is cool that's normal in games, but it's like right after the main mission. So if you just play this game straight through, there'll literally be no need to upgrading your weapon. You just keep buying a new one every time it comes up.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mid. But you'll be pleased to know that work on the shielding is underway.
You found something for it?
In a manner of speaking, Hippocrates knew of a substance that's highly resistant to heat. A coating that should provide the protection you need. He's supervising the construction and testing of the shielding as we speak.
Brilliant! I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Don't thank me. I'm just the errand boy.
Right then, better start working out how to bolt all these bits together. To the Black Hammer!
You know, when I got into the smithing game, I thought I'd be making swords and shields, not thermal bleeding didgeridoo-dahs.
Displacement stacks.
Same difference. Whatever you call it, I ain't putting it together in here. It's cramped enough as it is. Let's take this outside. Mid, you get all the parts lined up on the deck. I'll take care of the rest.
On my way!
Oh, and bring me the biggest hammer you can find. This is gonna require some precision walloping.
It's finished! It's finally finished!
Thank fuck for that. I'll be feeling my hammer arm for weeks.
Thank you, Clive, Blackthorn, everyone. That's one down and just 3 more to go.
I'm sorry.
Oh, didn't I tell you? The Enterprise has 4 mithril engines, and we'll be needing a displacement stack for each.
You don't mean...
Don't worry. Now they've got a finished one to work off. My gang in Canva can build the rest.
Good luck to them, I say. Right, I'm off to get a sling for this elbow. Any other work comes in, keep it to yourselves, eh?
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just daydreaming. Thinking about the Enterprise sailing off over the horizon to shores unknown. Searching for a land untouched by the Blight. Just like me and my dad planned. So if the worst came to the worst and every scrap of soil in the Twins turned black, we might still have a chance. That's what she was meant to be. You see, one last chance just in case we needed it. But now she's so close to being finished, I've realized I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be just a lifeboat for us to cling to if things get desperate. I want people to sail aboard her by choice, not from the lack of it. In a world where we're not just trying to survive, but where we can actually live.
I'm working on that. And I'll do everything I can to get you what you want.
Don't you always? All right. My mind's made up. As soon as the Enterprise is fit to sail, I'm putting her under your command. Sod our plans, I'm trusting in yours.
Are you sure about this?
Something tells me it's what my dad would have wanted.
He'd be proud of you.
You were gonna visit his grave, weren't you?
I was. And you can come too now that your little project is finished.
Right. There's just one thing I need to finish up first. Won't be a mo.
All right. I'll let Otto know you're coming. Meet us in the mess when you're ready.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ned told me she was building a ship. Clive! Anything catch your eye? Think you can help?
Here, Sid. Reckon you might be just the man to help me out of a bit of bother, if you've a mind to.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's about this alembic the Chief's got me making. Lovely bit of kit it is. Bunging a solution you want splitting, and it will separate it out, just like that. Problem is, it won't always get rid of all the impurities. And with some of the stuff we need it for, that ain't good enough. Which is why I've been looking for something to filter the liquid we'll be cooking off. And that's where I was hoping you could help me out.
I imagine Ty could get some use out of this alembic too. Distilling medicines and the like. Alright. Why not?
Proper job!
So what exactly do you need for this filter?
Nothing but bomb ash'll do, says the chief. Gave me a sample she'd obtained from the university stores. Couldn't believe my eyes. You pour the blackest blight water through it, and it comes out clear as a mountain stream. So, I did a bit of reading about where I might be able to get hold of some. And do you know what I found out? It's only the blimmin' bones of a bomb king. They leave them behind when they die, see?
I take it that's where I come in.
If you wouldn't mind. I saw a billet on the hunt board for one just the other day. Would have gone myself, but, well, fighting dirty great balls of flame isn't exactly my forte. You, on the other hand...
Alright. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you kindly. And a good hunting, eh?
Might as well knock out these sub quests. Excuse me. These side quests before I start the next quest. Use the hunt board to locate the bomb king. Remember what happened last time? I didn't read thoroughly on the hunt board. It took me freaking 30-40 minutes to find whatever I was trying to hunt. B rank? Oh yeah, he should be pretty easy then. Imperial Chase took a wrong turn in the nearby woods, within which she discovered the ruins of a fallen airship. And within them, a beast akin to a great ball of fire that chased her screaming from the grove. The soldier later identified the creature as an almanac of echoes, but was firm in her that the bomb she saw was near 10 times the size of the depicted therein. The croak Sambra. Alright. I'll figure out what it is. The croak. Let me go get this other quest.
They told me she was...
Let me see if it pops up. Where is that at? I said about an airship, so I feel like it's gonna be over here somewhere. And this kind of says it as well. Where's the croak? Nowhere. Oh, well, this is about to be annoying. There's a mark over here too. This might be where that other mark is at. Is Roswell over here? Rosaria, I mean, I said Roslyn. I don't see what the ham sandwich they're even talking about right now. The Imperial Chase. It's over here somewhere. He said something about the Imperial Chase. So it's over there. And let me look again. Yep. While aiming for the Imperial chase, took a wrong turn into a nearby woods. So yeah. So while trying to come here, it took a wrong turn, probably like right here or something. I'm gonna just put a marker. Unable to place a marker outside the map. That's just, I'm gonna forget all this. Let's go to this other quest first, and then we'll go on from there.
He cracked the crystal too? You're joking.
Trouble with the ledgers. Shouldn't he be asking Otto for help? Hopefully it's nothing. But I should speak to Blackthorn just in case. What could be wrong with Torgor? He seemed well enough when I last saw him. Blackthorn, do you have a moment?
Not really, no.
This won't take long. I just wanted to ask how you're getting on. August was worried about you, and you might still be doubting your craft, even after learning the trick of that cuirass. Is there something else weighing on your mind? Perhaps sharing your thoughts might help.
That bastard's like a dog with a bone. Still, he's got a keen eye, I'll give him that. He's just, well, Karen showed me something. Something I've never seen before.
And that was?
A sword. An odd-looking thing with a single-edged blade. The metal itself wasn't anything to write home about, but fuck me. The edge on it. You could slice a man clean in two with a weapon like that, and he'd be halfway home before he even realised he'd been cut.
So that's what's troubling you?
No. Not troubling me exactly. More distracting. Can't stop thinking, how do you get an edge that sharp? It's driving me mad.
And if you knew how to do it, we could arm the curse breakers with even better blades.
That's about the size of it, yeah.
I'll see what I can find out. Sharper swords are always welcome. And we can't have our master blacksmith being distracted.
You're a soft touch, you know that. But I can't say I'm not grateful for it. Good luck, eh?
Thank you. Let's see what Karen knows about this sword. You're looking well, Karen.
What you want? Out with it.
I want to know about the sword you showed Blackthorn. Single-edged and extremely sharp.
Running around after him again, are you?
I suppose I am, yes. But I need to help him find out how to work an edge like that. It's driving him to distraction.
Little wonder, I suppose. There's not many like that make it as far as the twins, and those that do go straight into private collections. Which made it nice and easy finding a buyer.
Can you tell me who bought it? Where is it now?
You think I tell people who my clients are? Suppose you're not likely to go nicking him off me, are you now? Fine. If you stop mooning at me like that. Lord Ignac's the man you want. Delmechian bloke. Collects weapons and the like. And he's got more money than sense, which is why he's one of my favourite clients. Reckon he'll still be at the inn in Dalamil, where I left him.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh. And he's a touch eccentric. If you take my meaning.
I appreciate the warning. I got your note. You think something's wrong with Torgal?
So you can read. Congratulations. But I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He's not been eating me treats. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boiled brown, but now he won't so much as look at 'em. Didn't like him. Which is why I'm of a mind that his mind's on something else. You've not been working him too hard, have you?
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
What was it you said he was? A frost wolf?
That's what the lawsman seems to think.
Then maybe this all has something to do with whatever it is that's woken inside him.
I suppose things have been different since Rosalith. Perhaps Hippocrates knows something.
Instead of everything, you mean? Perhaps.
She's a real big smartass.
Lawsman, I need to ask you about Torgal. Something's not right with him.
He isn't ill, is he?
I don't think so. But according to Lady Karen, he seems to have lost his appetite, which is certainly a new development. She says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something to do with what happened at Rosalith Castle.
I rather think she might be right, though not about his appetite. All canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within, and I see no reason why a frost wolf should be any different. Accordingly, I suspect it is not a lack of appetite that afflicts Torgal, but a surfeit of it. If we assume that his newfound magics require additional nourishment to sustain, it may well be that the bones Lady Karen is accustomed to providing are no longer sufficient. Frost wolves, after all, habitually prey upon far larger animals, whose bones may yield altogether different nutrients. As to where one might find a suitable substitute, some antelopes that graze the meadows of eastern Rosaria have been known to grow to a size more than double that of their lesser cousins.
I don't recall ever seeing any that large.
And little wonder. The oldest and largest such creatures rarely leave the safety of the highlands for fear of predators. The last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about took place near Cressida, and that was long before the village was abandoned.
Even so, it seems like a good place to start.
Good hunting, Clive.
Got a lot of fighting I'm about to do, which is pretty good because it's XP and AP.
Is that the thing Tomes helped him with?
Lid told me she was building a ship.
Clive, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Otto won't be listening.
Is this better?
A little. Listen. I've some bad news. it turns out the hideaway may be slightly behind in its payment to certain lenders, and it may be my fault. But I swear to the goddess, I thought I had the numbers square. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. 0, you might say. I can straighten it out, I swear, but it's going to take some time, and I'm going to need help keeping it from Otto.
Bit late for that, I'd say.
There you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our lenders what they're due, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. And I hope he'll dig you out of the hole you've dug for yourself. Clive, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this was a cunning plan. Why? Well, who needs paying?
Oh, just Martha. And the dame. And, well, Lady Karen. But only 500 talents.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million gil.
Each. 5 million each. They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have made some sort of oversight.
Those ledgers were my responsibility, and it was my decision to entrust them to you. This is my fault.
Do we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, you won't. We've lightened Lord Rossfield's purse enough. After the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we're going to make this work.
All right. But that doesn't mean you have to shoulder the burden yourself. Is there anything I can do to help?
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to Martha and the dame?
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. Worth 1,000 talents apiece, these are.
A little something Sid and I set aside for when times got lean. And I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies. I just hope our associates' eyes are a bit more discerning than yours.
I'm sure there will be.
Should be me making the rounds, really. But you know how it is with this place. Orders to bark, arses to wipe, and all that.
I know. Which is why I don't mind going in your place.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because you'd rather Lady Karen killed me.
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Well, I suppose this is goodbye then.
Don't worry. I'm sure Karen will understand.
Really? Do you think so?
No, I don't.
We'll take care of the bomb first, and then we'll figure out everything else from that.
Let's go. All right.
And I came here before, and I was like, man, there's nothing here. There was just a treasure chest here, and there was nothing else. So it makes sense why there's something here. It made me get off my steed, by the way. And that's definitely something that it was just this chest here. Okay, say he made a wrong turn, but it made me get off my steed here for one. And it did that little zoom in thing when I was walking here too, but obviously you see nothing has appeared, so I don't think this is the place. Say he made a wrong turn trying to get to Imperial Pass, which means it might not exactly be Imperial Pass. It might be this way. That's what it is. Let's go over that way. That's probably exactly what it is. And I think I might have came this way and said something about that before too. Yeah, I think I did. I think on one of the screens I came to, I said, man, this area is wide open for some reason. It just looks like there's supposed to be something here. There was nothing there, and I was like, it seems like there's gonna be something here because it's just literally a wide open area of nothingness.
Look what we have here. Greetings, Your Majesty. This one. I'm her Torgal. Nice try.
Oh, boy.
Get him. Over here. This one. Well done, Torgal.
That was kind of weird.
Your reign is over. Now to collect the ash.
The fight wasn't necessarily hard, but he definitely hit hard, for one. And something felt off.
That should do it. If a wine needs more than this, he can fetch it himself.
Just knock all these side quests out. Ooh, it's inside, of course.
There's talk.
Well, I mean, also noticing that Clive doesn't heal just because you go back to a city. Like just because I'm in this city doesn't mean Clive is gonna have full health because I'm in a safe spot, which you would think he would. See, my health is still low right now. Excuse me, I didn't just automatically get my health healed just because I came to a safe area, just because I came to a town. Excuse me, which is usually the case.
What am I going to do without sweet water and olive talc?
Milady, I come bearing gifts.
Gifts? Whatever is the occasion. Oh my. Clive, you really have outdone yourself.
Otto asked me to give it to you. To settle the hideaway's debt with the Veil. And to compensate you for the time it took us to do so.
You disappoint me, Clive. I thought you might finally be warming to me. Tell Otto he can keep his baubles. I tried to tell him as much the first time around. The man owes me nothing, nor does the hideaway. My contribution to the restoration effort was made freely and willingly. It was the least I could do.
You once told me Sid did you a kindness. I'd like to do the same. Please, accept it. For my sake. And for Otto's. For all of us. For all you've done.
It is rather fetching, isn't it? Very well. Otto is lucky to have you, Clive. I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you and the others at the hideaway are the closest thing he has to family.
Otto had a son.
Long ago, yes. Sid told me Otto lost him when he was just a boy, and blamed himself for not being able to stop it. I don't know how it happened, whether there was anything he could have done, but it was clear that it weighed heavily on him.
I didn't know.
How could you have? I doubt anyone did. Besides Sid, I've never met a man more keen to bear his sorrows in stoic silence. An ill habit, given that both have always been surrounded by friends desperate to help them.
I'm beginning to see that.
Clive, we weren't expecting you.
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you a considerable amount of coin for your help with our rebuilding efforts. And though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as payment.
A star ruby? I can't accept this. It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right buyer.
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever borrow from me again. Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? I'd have expected Otto. Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it? The old goat working himself to death again.
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired Lord Commander, word is he was the first one Sid reached out to. Probably knew that without his strong arm and level head, the idea would never get off the ground. Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it. That Otto would just give up.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. If I recall, he was the one who nominated you as Sid's replacement, and rallied the rest around you. I reckon what he saw in Sid, he saw in you too. And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do. Go will want to know the stones were delivered. If he's still with us.
What are you after? Much obliged. Thanks very much. Take care out there, eh?
I got about maybe 30 more minutes left before it's time for me to head to the gym. No, I guess we've been streaming for almost 2 hours, so yeah, I think that'll be sufficient. I'm trying to see what this is. I don't even remember what this is. What's this one? I think this is a quest, a bone to pick. Obviously, I've accepted some quests, and I just don't remember. Yeah, see, my health, nothing recovered. I think the only time it recovers is when I go to the actual base. Other than that, my health just gonna be deteriorating the whole time. Maybe this is the antelope one. Y'all trying to scrap? Y'all want to fight? I'll fight. Togo should be able to kill these dudes like mad easy. I feel like. Not in the mood for no hornets and all that stuff. Get out of the way.
All right.
Run, Clive. This big mentor nigga.
Time to fight. You're finished.
There's another mentor over here. I don't feel like this is what it is. This Minotaur has been here before. Alright, that was blocked off. They used to be blocked off before.
Well, it's certainly quiet.
Yeah, this is the
antelope.
Yeah, this is the antelope part.
It
Yeah.
seemed like just the place.
That bridge used to be broken or something like that. That was the
We'll find
antelope.
one bigger than that. Hungry, Torgal?
Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna need all y'all to burn. Come here. Come get sucked up. All of y'all get sucked up right quick. There's one down. See, it's a bloody high, and the other one was bloody something, bloody blood. I think it was a bloody something.
No.
That's for sale.
Will it be enough, I wonder?
He's happy about it.
I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsman our thanks.
What I also need to do is I need to check his check Toko's pedigree. I think his pedigree might have went up.
A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
Let me make sure there's nothing else around here. Think about it, I've been here before. I remember we fought something up there. Anyways, before my time runs out, time for me to leave, let's go ahead and go here. This dude probably gonna want me to do something crazy to get this from him. Because I think we just need to look at the sword or whatever, but he's probably gonna want, oh, if you do this and this for me or whatever, then I'll give you the sword and blah, 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 blah.
People take notice of wealthy men. Shouldn't be too hard to track down Karen's collector.
The Sendrate's fang is gone. The whole mother crystal gone. What are we gonna do? Calm.
My reputation will be ruined! Ruined!
Calm yourself, Lord Ignac, I beg of you, before you do yourself a mischief.
Pardon the intrusion, but...
Out! Get out! I paid for these rooms so I wouldn't be disturbed. Leave me be!
Please, allow me to apologize. His lordship is going through a difficult time, and he's never been fond of guests arriving unannounced.
Radim! Get rid of the filthy oaf this instant!
Very good, Lord Ignac. Would you mind stepping outside for a moment?
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
That? Oh, no. That's just how his lordship is. Though the morning's events have left him somewhat fractious. He has been dispossessed of his luggage, you see. The thieves also made away with a considerable amount of coin. Coin the innkeeper will soon be keen to collect.
I don't suppose a certain blade was among the stolen items. A single-edged sword. It was purchased from a merchant friend of mine.
Ah, you know Lady Karen. Yes, I'm afraid it was.
Then I'll retrieve Lord Ignac's luggage. But I have one condition.
You have but to state it. You are welcome to anything that is within my power to grant.
I want an audience with Lord Ignac. A few minutes should be enough. Then I'll be on my way.
A condition I would be a fool to refuse. Of course, you shall have your audience.
I don't suppose you saw where the thieves went?
I did not, no. Though some discreet inquiries made on his lordship's behalf mean that I know where you might find them. The bandit's bed. Every ill-gotten coin in Dalamal is said to pass through that disreputable corner of the Valcroy.
And that's where I'm heading.
I shall speak to Lord Ignac in your absence, and arrange for an audience upon your triumphant return.
That will be very kind of you.
Farewell, and best of luck.
Let's go.
Me and my boy Toggle. This Final Fantasy has definitely been different. Like right before I said that sentence, I was thinking about it when I was like, me and my boy Toggle. Most Final Fantasies, you're definitely together with your party a lot. There's certain situations in which you're not, like there's certain situations in which you get split from the party because of something happening. But in most of the Final Fantasy games, there's always more than one person. In the beginning, obviously, there's just you. But then you make friends, and then usually you don't split from those friends for a good minute. Like they love to do like little caveat things that make it so you do split from your friends. But in this one, I feel like is a lot of just you and Toggle. And then, you might have Jill with you, or you might have your uncle with you. You might have Gav with you. You might have Sid with you. Like you get little people every now and then, but it's for short spurts that you get them. Unlike their old traditional RPGs when it's like you was all the time with your people, like Xenogear and stuff like that. How am I stuck? Alright, let's go ahead and put some hands to these dudes.
Thanks, girl.
I'm gonna turn all these quests in after this, and then I'm gonna end the video.
We've got company. Come on, lads, let's tear the bastard's head off.
The fact that we got 3 mages, it's crazy. Oh my gosh, these mages is hitting. You almost got me. Alright, now it's time for you, punk.
To me, boy. Over here. This one.
Sit down right quick. None of that. Still smash at me. I can't see.
Help me, boy.
Man, it's getting pieced up. I still forgot to check freaking total set pedigree. I'll do it after this. Take a seat. My alarm about to go off. I'm about to stop it before it goes. Actually, I should be able to stop it now.
This must be Ignac's luggage. Nothing seems to be damaged. All right. Let's get it back to Delamel.
Alright, I was able to skip alarm.
I hear I have you.
Drink my protein shake.
What should I call you, my good man?
Wyvern. Glad to make your acquaintance.
A formidable name indeed. Well, Wyvern, I appear to be in your debt. Redeem here tells me you wished for an audience. Is that all?
A few moments of your time should suffice, yes.
You're a peculiar fellow, Wyvern. All right, speak.
Master Wyvern was wondering if you could tell him about a certain single-edged sword you recently acquired.
Oh, a true work of art, that one. Karen drove me hard on the price, but I would have sold her Radim here to get my hands on that sword.
That man said I would have sold him my assistant to get that sword.
And is used exclusively by the practitioners of a unique school of swordsmanship.
The Masamune?
No combat should ever exceed a single strike and hone their blades to such perfection.
Now I'm thinking about it.
None ever does.
It has one single-sided edge.
One perfect stroke, and for that
Oh yeah, it's gotta be.
upon a second blow.
Final Fantasy is known for having the Masamune.
Sort of beauty to it, really.
And they're definitely talking about a Japanese sword. They're talking about a katana. So.
Fine question. Why, they use a whetstone, of course. Whetstones, rather. A whole array of them, ranging from the coarse to the fine. 10,000 licks with the sharpening stone, then 10,000 more. But it is the final stone which lends the blade its legendary sharpness. A mineral quite foreign to this great realm of ours. And that is the key. The secret ingredient. Wyvern, it occurs to me that my little lecture is hardly equal to services rendered. Take this, together with my regards. The very stone of which I spoke, far rarer among collectors than even the blade itself, and a far more fitting payment.
Thank you.
Pardon the intrusion, my lordship. However, it is long past time we prepared ourselves to depart.
So it is. I am locked in bitter competition with a rival collector of curiosities. I am one step ahead of the unscrupulous scoundrel, but he is hard at my heels.
Are there many other collectors out there?
Too many to count, but only one do I consider my nemesis. Lord Byron Rosfield. And is a perennial thorn in my side.
I can imagine.
Farewell, Wyvern. May our paths cross again.
It's crazy that my uncle got money, got his some of his stuff cut off, but it's still loaded.
I think his lordship is rather taken with you, Master Wyvern. Thank you again for your assistance. Coming, my lordship. I'll be right there.
Excuse me.
Trust Uncle Byron to find such an interesting rival. Now, let's see what Blackthorn makes of this whetstone, shall we?
And technically, this sword right here has one edge. And it's katana-esque.
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. Take him for a walk, did you?
You could say that.
So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
You can, eh? I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Tomes for me. The bloody know-it-all.
I was just on my way to see him. Sorry for the wait, but hopefully you'll agree it was worth it.
You learned something about that sword then?
I did better than that.
A whetstone?
Yes. But not one you'll find anywhere in Valestia.
No wonder I couldn't get the same finish on the grinding wheel. One hit and all done, eh? Might not be so bad if all you ever fought were duels. Good luck on the battlefield. Your second opponent would be your last, no matter how good you were.
Even so, is there some way it could be used to give the curse breakers an edge?
I think so, yeah. With this whetstone and the right kind of steel, I could probably even make a twin of the blade that rattled me. But there'd be no replacing this little rock once I worn it down to a sliver. I reckon we get a dozen swords from it, if that. Swords that the curse breakers wouldn't know how to wield properly, and that would see them through a single fire piece. Nah, no point trying to copy that thing. Be about as much use as a wax anvil. But finishing our blades with a whetstone this fine, now that's something to consider. And what's finer than fallen masonry, eh? Or more hard-wearing, for that matter. Just imagine it. Good Valesthian steel with an edge as sharp as any found in the Outer Isles. I won't make a copy, nah. I'll make something much better.
I'm sure the curse breakers will be delighted. Just don't push yourself too hard.
Don't you worry about me, sunshine. I've been working day and night since I was half your age, and I'll still be here when you're long gone. Hey, thanks, Clive. I mean it. I owe you one, August too. It's good to know someone's looking out for me.
You'll be happy to hear you said that.
And I'll see that my debt to you's paid. First new blade I make's got your name on it. You come and find me when you've got the materials.
All right. I will.
Oh, this should be the making for a new sword right off the back. Oh, Excalibur, huh? But Excalibur is not a single edge sword though. The way he was talking was definitely a katana.
Back, are ya? What do you want?
Yep, we're definitely gonna make it straight off the bat. Got the Grimlock High, got the bomb ether. Straight up making. I don't think I need that stuff for anything else. If I do, then this is gonna suck. But this should be good. And this is stronger than the diamond blade or whatever the hell. Yeah, the diamond sword. Yeah, +1. So we'll go ahead and make this.
Not bad, if I do say so myself.
Thank you. And I still got another Scarlet left. So I have 4 of them.
And?
It almost kind of looks like a plain sword. The blade itself is not even super thick either. But I know it's still gonna be dope.
Ah, Clive. Were you able to locate your quarry?
We were indeed, Lawsman. You pointed us in exactly the right direction. And Torgal's been a very happy hound ever since.
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way, for your part in solving the mystery.
Ah. But that reminds me. After your last visit, I found myself pondering Torgal's talents. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in Torgal's transformation?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought, but one which raised certain questions in my mind. You see, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and Shiva alone, and while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature to those you described Torgal as having used.
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has served as a loyal companion to you, your brother, and even the late Cid. In short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or
that'll explain why he can do those thunderbolt things.
have been diverse and plenty, and that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of
Still
this
forgot to check Togo's pedigree. Alright, we gotta check it after this.
Fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still. We are fortunate indeed to be able to count him amongst our allies and not our adversaries.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
Alright, Linden loser. Like he almost finished. Almost finished. 3 more and Togo will be whatever he's supposed to be.
Oh, I'm never drinking again. Is that the thing Tomes helped to build?
Mid told me she was building a ship.
Good. Still alive, I see. So Lady Karen accepted the ruby.
Ah, about that. I tried my best, but she was just too stubborn to take it. She threw it right back in my face, in fact, and told me I could stick my stupid stone where the sun don't shine.
Karen refused payment.
I hope it wasn't something I said.
I'm sure you were as tactful as ever.
Let me see what I can do.
Oh, wonderful. I hope you have better luck than I did.
Lady Karen, Goad tells me you weren't happy with our offer. Would you prefer the debt was repaid in coin?
What debt? I don't recall lending any of you lot me hard-earned gil. I may have tossed a talent or two in the Hideaway's coffers, but those were donations, and you can hardly call it charity if you go asking for it back.
Of course not. But one good turn deserves another. And our circumstances have changed. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a prince.
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then you're getting the rest whether you like it or not. Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000 talents for a star ruby. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw himself and ask twice as much. Might be I already have a buyer in mind. Might be you even know her. A fine continental maid whose beauty's only eclipsed by a guile in commerce. You wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all. Just be sure to tell her that it's always a pleasure doing business.
I hear you ended up delivering all 3 stones. Thanks to this lump. I sometimes wonder what I pay you for.
Speaking of which, I still haven't been paid last month's wages.
Oh, so you remember what's owed to you then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours and don't get up before those ledgers are square.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
Yeah, yeah. Plenty of times. It was the only goblet Sid ever used, either out of habit or because the filthy soul couldn't be bothered to find a clean one.
I knew so little about him.
Like most people.
Martha and the Dame both seem to have fond memories of him.
I bet they do.
How long did you know Sid before he...
Before he died. 20 summers, give or take. Back in the day, I was a purser on a trade ship, which is where I met him. He bought passage to... I forget where. And having nothing better to do on the long nights, we set up drinking island rum till the morning bell dragged me back to my duties. Quit my post not long after that, on account of making a fine maiden's belly fat. But me and Sid stayed close, promising we'd one day sail the seas again. That was before fate stepped in and said she was having none of it. The magic woke inside my son soon after his first name day, and there was no hiding his knack.
Couldn't you and your family have...
My family were the ones who summoned the constable, wanted the monster taken away. I couldn't turn my back on him, forget what I felt, and I couldn't for the life of me understand how they could. Luckily, Sid was of the same mind as me. It was him who stood beside me when all I wanted was to tear the whole world down. Him who cried for me when I had no tears left of my own. Him who swore he'd do everything he could to stop it from happening again. And he was true to his word, too. Left the Royal Army once and for all. His ranks, his ribbons, gone. Just like that. Threw away everything he had. All to right a wrong that no one else had the courage to face. I knew then I'd follow that man to the ends of the earth.
I'm trying to get all this stuff done before I gotta go to the gym. It's already 3:42. I'm about to leave for the gym here in like next 10 minutes or so, and these things just taking a minute.
For his own good, was Sid. Saw the world for what it really was, while the rest of us were content to go along with the lie we were shown. And it can't have been easy, bearing that burden alone. But he didn't let it stop him. He never lost faith in what he believed was right. And that gave us faith in him. Faith he'd steer us true. So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall. But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me, just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, but I wanted you to know this place would be fucked without you. Love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
Hmm? What about it?
Sid was right. Without you, we'd all be lost.
He should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone? I'd only have told him to piss off. You're wrong, though. Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Would you rather go at the helm?
Well, maybe I've got a few more years left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go, Sid would have wanted you to have this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
some help.
All right there, Sid? How's that hunt for the bomb ash going?
I have it here.
That's the stuff. And plenty of it, too. Enough to keep the Olympic bubbling away for a good old while. You're a gent, Sid. Let none say otherwise. Right then, let's get this contraption up and running. There we have it. The Telemon Alembic. And it works just like the chief said it would.
Very impressive.
Says the man who cut down a burning boulder. Speaking of which, I still haven't returned the favor.
There's no need. The good it will do for the hideaway is reward enough.
Don't be silly. Why don't you let me take a look at that bag of yours? The one you keep your potions in. Reckon I could work some magic on that.
What kind of magic?
Well, we happen to have isolated a substance in our test run of the Alembic that I reckon will make even the toughest leather supple as anything. Thought we might use it to breathe new life into old boots and the like. Save the hideaway a few gil. Ah, I reckon if we slap a bit on your bag, it'll loosen it up enough for you to squeeze in a bottle or two more.
Well, it can't hurt to try, I suppose.
That's the spirit. Leave it with me. I'll only be a mo. Well, what do you reckon?
It certainly feels more flexible.
Right? Told you.
Thank you. I think.
No. Thank you for supporting Mid and the rest of us in our endeavors. Without you, we'd never have been able to discover wonders like that stuff I rubbed on your bag. And I'm telling you, there's plenty more where that came from.
Whew, just ended at tree 50. Okay, so now I got more potions too. So I already did a quest that made my potions stronger. I got a new sword. Oh, potions went to 6. That's pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and buy the rest. Oh, the sword is kind of gold. I'll have to read the description of it. But that's for a later time. I'm gonna go buy these potions and then we're gonna end this video. And then we'll get back to next. Oh, I unlocked something. I got 550 points.
How may I help you today, Clive? Is everything we've received and everything promised?
Oh, 715. High cleric.
All yours.
850 unlock the next one. I don't know. There's obviously have to be a lot more. I know I got one more hunt to do. Oh, wherever the case may be. See, I got that hunt instead of the S rank hunt, which probably gonna be hard. I know we have 3 more dominants. There's 4 more dominants technically, but there's Shiva we haven't got yet. There's Bahamut, and then there's Odin, and then whoever that last dominant is that still hasn't been talked about. But let me go ahead and buy this.
And what can I do for you?
Just shut up and give me my potions. Trying to see if she got anything new. Don't look like it. Alright. Got my more potions.
You'll not find find a better price than that.
All right.
Is that all?
God, I probably should change the stone one to elixir because I really don't even use the stone one for real. All right, that's gonna be it for today. Appreciate y'all hanging around. This is basically a bunch of side quests. Even the main mission was kind of a side quest. But we'll pack back on later today, and then we'll start doing our next quest and whatnot. Appreciate y'all tagging along. For y'all folks on YouTube, please give me a like, subscribe, recommend me to your friends. Same thing for y'all on Twitch. Recommend me to your friends. You know what I mean? Let's get this name out there so we can make something ourselves, and I can give back to y'all like y'all give to me. Greiwolph out.